Hi, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Christy, and I'm a registered dietitian and also the founder of Little Eaters Academy, where we help parents raise intuitive eaters or little ones with a healthy relationship with food. Now, Halloween is almost here, and as a registered dietitian, I do get a lot of questions from parents about candy and how they should be navigating that on Halloween. So I wanted to share some common questions I get and then my responses. So I've had a few similar questions to this. How much candy should I let my child have? How do you gently limit the amount of candy that my child wants each night without temper tantrums? So restricting can actually backfire. It puts sweets up on a pedestal and it can make them seem even more desirable. Instead of focusing on a specific limit for candy, you can help remind them to listen to their own body and try to normalize that type of food, sweets. As they're eating, you can help guide them by asking questions such as, how does that make your body feel? Or why don't you slow down and take time to really enjoy that bite of candy? Or, don't worry, today isn't the only day you'll get to have candy, and you can even encourage them to start to pick out what candies they might want to have tomorrow or the next day. They could sit there and pick out a few candies that they know they want to have tomorrow with their lunch, for example. So basically, I want you guys to see Halloween as a good learning experience for them and helping guide them to listen to their bodies and how the candy is making them feel. So another question I get when I talk to parents about that is, wait, so you're saying I should give them candy again tomorrow? We don't want to turn Halloween into like a week-long candy fest. And what I say is, yeah, sweets can be given every once in a while, and the best thing to do is give it alongside a balanced meal. So for example, the day after Halloween, whatever candies they pick out, you could give them a balanced plate that has, a protein, a carbohydrate, a fruit or a veggie, or both, and then a piece of candy. And give it to them, and don't comment on what parts of the plate they're eating. Just give them that balanced meal. And you can include candy every once in a while. I'm not saying that every single meal will be candy, but every once in a while it will be candy, and what you're not going to do is make a big deal of it. You're just going to kind of normalize it. Here's your plate with some candy added to it. And all of this is really just to help them create a healthy relationship with candy so that as they grow up, they're not all of a sudden binging because they think it's the only time that they're going to get to have it. And then my other question is, but won't they ignore the rest of their plate? If you give them a plate for lunch that is balanced and then it has candy on it, are they going to ignore, the vegetable, the fruit? And maybe at first they will. They might only eat, the bread and the piece of candy, or they might only eat the cheese and the piece of candy, or the chicken nugget and the piece of candy, and that is okay. There's something called division of responsibility that I go over with parents, which is all about creating healthy relationships with food and figuring out what the parent is responsible and what the child is responsible. As the parent, your job is to hand them that balanced plate, put it on the table, sit down and eat your own balanced plate. And after that, what happens. And eventually, what's going to happen is they're going to pick up on your eating habits and the parts of the food of the plate that you're eating, and they're going to start to eat more than just one section. So what I recommend is you kind of just hand them the candy as a part of the regular meal when you're serving on other days besides Halloween. Now, I know that Halloween's a little different because you may be eating as you're trick-or-treating a piece of candy here and there. So that's basically another story, but in terms of normalizing it afterwards, that is what I would recommend. You can also on Halloween, if you choose, wait and have your candy with dinner. That is an option. Another question I got, let me see. Okay, so I got a question from one parent asking, should I serve them less food on Halloween to make up for the extra calories that they're getting from all of their candy? And here I have some of my daughter's candy that she's already gotten. We've got some Tootsie Rolls, some Milky Way, lots of fun stuff. Three Musketeers. I feel like a lot of kids don't like that as much. But yeah, we've got our own candy here. And so basically people are wondering, if they're eating all of this stuff, should I be feeding them less of the other stuff? Because I don't want them to get too many calories. With kids, a healthy kid, as the parent, you don't need to be too concerned about calories, more about how often you're offering food and what kinds of food you're offering. But the best thing to do on Halloween is really to still serve those 3 balanced meals and 1 balanced snack. So I still want you to serve that snack even though they're getting candy too that day. Because what's going to happen is they'll get the nutrition they need, and it'll help them consume less candy overall usually. Because what happens is when you're eating those balanced meals, you're not having the highs and lows of your blood sugar throughout the day that make you, so ravenous and hungry. So let's say you skip your after school snack, or I guess Halloween's on a Sunday, so it wouldn't be after school, but your mid-afternoon snack because you want them to have room, or you want them to not eat too many calories because you're going to have candy later. What's going to happen is if they miss that afternoon snack that they're used to, they're going to start to feel really hungry. And what's going to happen is they're actually going to eat even more of the candy than they would have otherwise. So instead, stick to what you've been doing. Have the 3 balanced meals, the balanced snack, and then have candy. Best case would be with a meal or a snack, but otherwise just have a little bit when they're trick-or-treating after you've checked it out. So here is a concern I get often when I'm telling people not to focus so much on limiting the candy on Halloween. And the question is, what if they get sick? So as parents, the last thing we ever want is for our little ones to feel sick. But if they do notice that they're feeling not so great, their tummy's kind of gurgling or not feeling well because they had so much candy, that's actually a way that they're learning about their bodies and how much candy they can balance, which is all part of creating that healthy relationship with food. They're learning, okay, if I eat this certain amount of candy, I might not feel so well. So if they're not feeling well, you can gently ask them, why do you think you're not feeling well? What's wrong? And talk to them about it. I do recommend, though, offering them a lot of water. If they're having a lot of sugar, sometimes that helps them feel a little better as well throughout the day. But yeah, feeling a little off after eating a large amount of candy can actually be an important step in learning their own personal limits and how much candy makes them feel good versus not so good. And of course, as we talked about at the beginning of the live, you can ask them those guided questions if you're concerned as they're eating. Things like, how is your body feeling? Or why don't you slow down and take the time to really enjoy that bite? Things like that. But aside from that, you really do have to give them a little bit more freedom. Then another question I got, and if you're watching live, you're also welcome to comment with a question, and I can answer that as well. But I'm just reading some that I got from my Facebook and Instagram stories before, where I was asking for questions, and also some that I've gotten from parents outside of that. So, are there any candies that I should avoid giving to my child? That's another question I got. And of course, for safety reasons, it's a good idea to check any candy that you get, especially from someone you might not know, and make sure that it's totally sealed. So that would be one case. And then you also want to avoid choking hazards, or if your child has an allergy, you want to make sure you know every single ingredient in that candy that you're going to let your child eat. But other than that, it's all fair game. So you would just want to watch for safety, choking hazards, allergies. Other than that, no, you can let your child pick and choose what they want to have. Before I go, I just want to leave you with Halloween is one day a year. Having a little extra candy that one day is not going to cause any major problems for an otherwise healthy child. What it is going to do is be a good learning experience for them as they kind of figure out how much candy their body can have and still, feel okay. So there are some healthy aspects for Halloween. So a lot of parents start freaking out about, oh my gosh, my kid's going to eat so much candy that day. I need to stop them from eating so much candy. But what I want you to do is think about all the good things that are happening on Halloween also health-wise. So on Halloween, families get out and they go for long walks together. They see friends, they see other families. So there's the health benefit of the walking and the exercise that way. There's the mental health aspect of, seeing friends and family and dressing up and having fun. So I want to leave you with, this is going to be a fun day, a good experience. Try to take a deep breath, don't stress, have fun, and enjoy that walk and enjoy that time with family. Thank you for joining. If you want any more information, please follow me on my Facebook page, my Instagram page. Instagram is @little.eaters.academy. Facebook page is Little Eaters Academy, and then our website is just littleeatersacademy.com. I offer workshops where we can go over creating a positive feeding relationship for your child and for yourself, because that definitely affects your children. I also offer workshops for other groups, so if you want to invite me, to your library, to your organization, to your mom group, to your pediatrician office, to your IBCLC support group, whatever it is, I'm happy to come and give a mini presentation there as well. And I also do one-on-one virtual consultations, so I can meet with you one-on-one because every child is a little bit different. So while the workshops are a great experience to educate and empower yourself, meeting one-on-one, we can really go over your family's specific needs, come up with a plan that works for you. So otherwise, just follow me. Anything that I share that you think is useful, I would love for you to share with friends and family because I'm very passionate about helping meal times be a little less stressful for you and keeping our little ones healthy. So thanks for following. Thanks for joining me today, and happy Halloween. Now I'm going to figure out how to end this.